Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and I am back to talk about Sailor Moon Crystal. This time, Act 27, both parts, titled Infinity 1 Premonition, which was released Monday, April 4th and April 11th, 2016. Now, guys, I know it's been a while since Sailor Moon has been on, but I definitely changed up the formatting of my recap thought videos. So I'm going to try to do everything in 10 minutes, but let's quickly begin with that clock. And so something new that we learned in this episode, we definitely see a lot of new characters. Fans of the classics won't see them as new characters, but for us Crystal viewers, they are new. So we get, I'm probably going to butcher these names, I do apologize, but we got Haruka Tenno, who is the professional racer. We got Michiru, the violinist. We got Hotaru. I know it's Hotaru, but we don't actually hear her name. But she's the little girl that Chibi Yusa finds, who has like this. She struggles to breathe, and she seems to have a healing touch as well. We also see, or we don't see, we also hear Master Pharaoh 90, another voice that leads the enemy, and he or she communicates with Kaolinite, who is the redhead boss lady supervisor, I'm gonna call her, to the Witches 5, which are her 5 minions in search, and they summon upon the Damians, creatures, which are these seedlings that they put into anything, and once the seedlings make contact, they transform whatever it is, human, animal, object. Well, classics, it was objects, but they turn them into these monsters. Everyone's calling them reversions. So those are the next creatures that our Sailor Guardians are going to have to deal with. So in this two-part premiere, I guess you can call it, we get introduced to the Mugen Academy, which has all its students seeming to be targets for these Damien creatures that implant their dark seedlings, like I said, into them and then turn them into monsters. And the news is calling them possible reversion. Some people are skeptical of the fact that it's monsters, unless they're actually there. So the first attack that the scouts deal with, we see the Damien being defeated by a team-up attack between Venus and Jupiter. And then later on with the second Damien attack, we see Sailor Moon's major attack, defeating it. I'm blanking on the names right now. It's been a while. I have to get used to it all over again. So there's that. So they try to investigate the academy to see why those students specifically are being targeted, and instead they end up getting into attacks as well. Also, something new, things I want to touch up on about the difference between the classics version and this Crystal version that was just released. So in Crystal, we got Haruka and Michiru are an actual couple in the Crystal version, while as classics fans will remember that Haruka and Michiru, or Amara and Michelle, they were portrayed as cousins, with slight tints of love between the two, but more so than family love. So we actually see them as a couple this time, and we also see Sailor Uranus, although she's not actually named as Sailor Uranus, but people who are already fans will recognize that. But we see her with a mask, like tuxedo mask, and a cape just like him, and that's all you see of her outfit, while with Sailor Neptune you actually see parts of her scout uniform. Yet for Uranus, all you see is the cape and the mask, so it leads you, definitely keeps the mystery in question on whether or not it's Uranus is dressing up just like Tuxedo Mask's costume, or whether it's like the Scout's costume, which I'll touch upon that in a moment as well later on. But going back, another difference is that all the witches of Witches 5 are actually introduced in this premiere. We don't get any names of them at all, but we actually see all 5 of them instead of always having it. We are introduced to one after another after the first one has been defeated. So there's that. Another thing I noticed, I'm not sure if this is accurate, but Mamoru is having these dreams about the destruction of the Silver Millennium Kingdom, Hotaru is also having them as well. But in the classics version, wasn't that sort of dream that he was having something that he experienced when they had to deal with the Dark Moon family, and because it was the future king that was sending him those dreams to prepare for him to strengthen the bond between him and Usagi? I mean, I think I distinctly remember in that version of the classics, he had those dreams, where in this part of the classics, in the Infinity Arc, I guess you could say, he didn't have those dreams in the classics. I'm just wondering if I'm remembering it wrong, or if that's actually a distinct difference in the fact that he's now having those dreams later on, like we're seeing in Crystal, as opposed to how he had them earlier on, like in classics. Also, another thing that happened in this episode, you still see Usagi being extremely jealous over the fact that Chibiusa is hogging all of Mamoru's attention, which is still kind of weird, and it seems like she even forgets sometimes that Chibiusa is actually her future daughter and just vying for the attention of her future father, although which is making her future mother jealous. So it's just craziness right there too, but it's fun to watch because, yeah. So what was the most shocking moment of the episode for me? I'd have to say the costume difference for Sailor Uranus was something I wasn't expecting. Granted, I haven't caught up with reading on the manga yet. I only finished the Dark Kingdom arc when it dealt with Queen Beryl. I haven't read with the Wise Men and the Black Moon, the Dark Black Moon family or anything like that. So I'm definitely behind on when it comes to Uranus and Neptune's introduction into the manga. So seeing the costume for the first time with Uranus having a mask and then having that cape, it definitely threw me. I like it, but I wasn't expecting it for sure. So moving on, top 3 favorite moments. First one definitely has to be the reintroduction of all the characters that we got in at the very beginning of part 1. I liked it because it was helpful, especially since I haven't seen any of the Crystal episodes since Act 26 had aired. I think it was way back last summer. So it's definitely been a while since I've watched it all together. So just having that brief introduction was definitely helpful to start to jog my memory in a sense. I really liked that. Another thing I liked about this two-parter was the mystery behind Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune. Though the confusion I could go without. The confusion being Uranus, Sailor Uranus, because I know from, maybe it's because of the fact that whatever I know from the classics is interfering with what is being revealed in the Crystal version. So that's probably what my issue is there, though. But distinctly in classics, it was clear that her Uranus, Amara, Haruka, Tenno, any name she has in the classics, they right off the bat distinguished her as being female. So her scout uniform, she was female. The inner scouts crushing on her only to find out she's a girl. That was distinguished within the first episode that she was formally introduced to him. In this episode, everyone is referring to Haruka as a guy. So the costume change with Uranus with the cape and the mask, and that's all you see of that outfit, reinforces the fact that it could be a guy, like he's another tuxedo mask, as you can say. But then I know from classics that it's actually a girl, so it's like, okay, is he just, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm probably going to have it wrong. I'm probably going to offend people like this, but I probably wouldn't be as confused if I'd never watched the classics version to begin with, or maybe if I'd already read the manga, but like, I don't know, it really reminds me of the confusion I felt when watching the classics season 5, the Starlights, how they'd swap between identities the way they did. That always confused me, so that's kind of coming back around to this Crystal version of Uranus, so it's just, yeah. So while I like the mystery around them, since they are technically new characters in Crystal and we're just slowly going to be introduced to different aspects of them, the fact that already what I know in classics is interfering with what I'm learning in Crystal is kind of the issue for me. But it doesn't take away the mystery that I liked about it. Don't get me wrong. Okay, last favorite scene for me has to be the arcade scene. Only because it was a glimpse of happiness that we saw the group having before all this new threat comes. Because as you know, for TV shows, they don't really show a lot of happy moments. They show you glimpses of it, and then they show you when shit hits the fan type of thing. But they never show you one episode when all the characters are happy-go-lucky and everything like that. It's usually the break in between episodes or the break between seasons that is where the characters were supposedly at their happiest at the time. So it's like, at least with the arcade scene, we kind of got a glimpse of what the happiness was like for these scouts. And there's the timer. But top 3 peak moments. First one has to be the full transformation sequences that we see in a row. Now, I watched part 1 and part 2 together. So for me, seeing the full transformation sequences twice in a row with episodes and then having all the scouts go through it, it was repetitive. It got pretty boring pretty quickly. I wish they did like a split screen where it had all Sailor Moon, Sailor Mini Moon transforming together in a split screen, and then having the 4 other scouts splitting the screen for them as well to speed up the process. Because I didn't notice anything different. It wasn't like they changed. It wasn't like they had a power upgrade and their outfits were changing. It was still the same transformation, I think. Maybe a few different animations, but to see them full-blown sequence twice in 2 episodes in a row, the way it did with all of them each going through it individually, it was repetitive. It took away from it. I got really bored really fast with it, and I just kept thinking, hurry up. I was tempted to skip forward on my video, but I knew if I did that, I'd have to start over again, and I didn't want to do that. Next, key moment was also the destructive dream that Mamoru or Mamo-chan was experiencing with the fall of the Silver Millennium Kingdom. Because that is going to cause him to pull away from Usagi. And I don't really like it when that happens, but I guess if that part was ever going to happen, then I guess it's going to happen now. Don't know what purpose it's going to prove in this arc, considering I know what happened in the previous arc, in the classics rendition of it. So, there's that. Moving on, so what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode? The fact that we're starting a new arc, the fact that we were introduced to Uranus and Neptune, even though we didn't get the scout names for that. But I'm just going to call them that for a while until I get used to saying their names. But moving on, random questions, just the one. Is Master Pharaoh 90 going to just be another disembodied voice for the time being? Kind of like how Wise Man was always just a voice. We don't actually see the face. Kind of like how Metalia was just a voice. We didn't actually see a face. Is that what we're going to get with Master Pharaoh 90 for a while until they actually reveal who is behind the voice? I don't know. Probably. It's definitely going to keep the mystery alive, for sure. But let's move on very quickly. Predictions. Based off the little promo at the end of the episode, Act 29 is definitely going to show new faces being introduced. I recognize them from the classics. Don't know if we're actually going to get names for them in Crystal. But no clue what's going on, because I managed to find a promo that didn't have English subtitles, so that's a disadvantage for me. But I'll definitely go find one with that after this. But overall, I think the Sailor Guardians, or the Inner Circle, will get answers, or at least the names of the new Guardians that are coming in, the names of the people who are now their new enemies, because although we classics fans or manga fans know who the names are, the strictly Crystal fans don't know the names, so we gotta wait for those. And I think that there's going to be some sort of bond forming between Usagi and Haruka, and also between Mamoru and Michiru, just based off the brief interaction we get between the two sets during that arcade scene. We get Michiru and Mamoru out on the streets, bumping into each other and talking about past lives, a prince's eyes and stuff like that. And then we see Usagi and Haruka racing each other, him giving her advice and stuff like that. And then later on, when Haruka and Michiru are walking together, they actually mention the two encounters briefly. But yeah, definitely going to be some sort of bond between the two, and it's definitely going to cause some tension between the two set relationships between the two sets. So Usagi, Mamoru, Haruka, and Michiru, tensions of some form. But yeah, that's what it. So what did you guys think of the two episode? What did you like about it? What did you find that was different between the classics versions with this crystal version, or even with the manga version as well? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. Also, if you want, check out my Tumblr page. I don't blog Sailor Moon Crystal a lot, but every time it pops up on my dashboard, I definitely reblog it. So if you want to check that out, link for that is down below. If you want to follow my Tumblr just because I follow other shows that you like, go right ahead. New followers are welcome. I am a little behind on that, as well as I'm like a week behind in videos, so I'm trying to catch up on that. But yeah, so that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. I hope you come back next week to see what I have to say about Act 28. But until then, this is Mel wishing you a great day, great week wherever you are. Bye for now.